my name's Torinski and welcome back to another DCSS Sunday. Last week, we had a pretty awesome start for our Demonspawn. Things were going very well. We managed to get 2 of our runes pretty quickly off the bat there. But then unfortunately, we lost it all in the final moments of the stream due to some definitely foolish actions on my part. We died with inventory full of blink scrolls and all other matter of consumables that could have gotten us out of the tricky situation. But hey, it's nice every once in a while to get a bit of a reminder that the second you start looking down on DCSS, it will kick you right where it hurts and make sure that you're paying attention. And so, hopefully this week, we can pick it up, do slightly better, maybe actually stay focused the entire time while still having some fun. And we'll see how she goes today. So without further ado, let's start setting up. Unfortunately, Demonspawn has been lost, so we won't be playing that today. You're just gonna say Mad Demon, leave it alone? Don't you worry, that is exactly the plan for today. In fact, we're gonna be taking a bit of an amalgamation, a combination of 2 different viewer suggestions. Because, for background, and for starting off here, we'll be going with a Demonspawn Wanderer. I think it was Shaper Dreamin' who asked for this combo start, so I thought we might as well give it a shot here, and Matt Demon. Perfect. And without further ado, I guess we're pretty much ready to start heading into it here. Start with the +2 dagger, Potion of Berserk. Lig might be nice right away, and Potion of Curing, having those all identified might actually be pretty sweet for the beginning here. If we pop into our skills, for once we'll have to pay a bit of attention as to what exactly is on here, because you never know with Wanderer where you're starting off. So throw it onto manual, short blades and unarmed, a little bit of shields, some stealth. Okay, so pretty basic start here in terms of the randomization. We don't have to worry about any spells or anything yet. And I guess we might as well start training some short blades. At least a little bit while we're still using this fancy dagger. Might work out. It's going to be an interesting start at the very least, and then once we get an idea of where this run is heading, we can start to narrow down, focus in on where exactly we want to be moving forward. Of course, we'll also pop in and quickly set up all of our auto pickup, get all the throwables we could possibly need, each and every one of these evocables. And last but not least, we'll do a quick character dump, hop in here to steal the seed, and we'll throw that up on screen in case any of you lovely folk want to join along at home, see if you can't deal with the things the game throws at us slightly better than I can. I'm sure you definitely will. And with that out of the way, we are ready to hop into it here. On top of our choices being selected at the end of last stream, I was also interested in potentially trying out Rue today. I've never really worshipped Rue, and I'm not sure completely what they're about besides making sacrifices, gaining piety, and cowing the dungeon denizens with your aura of power. And it might be nice to get an opportunity to check them out a little bit before the changes that are coming down in the next version of the game. Fated Altar, also kind of tempting, if I'm being honest, but we'll leave it alone for now. And I waited for a moment using the robe for a little bit, but I think we will actually change up to chainmail. We're not casting any spells, not like we have amazing evasion or anything anyway, so a little bit of extra armor class will probably go a long way against these early critters here. And we are officially off, of course. +2 dagger will eventually fall out. Hopefully we'll be able to find rapier, short sword, maybe even switch up to long blades or maybe even polearms again. Be nice. Oh, I was about to say for an artifact polearm, but hey, an enchanted spear? That's honestly in a similar camp. So, do we want to make the change? We don't have too much in the way of skilling here. In fact, stealth, I'm bringing up to 2.0, and then we'll probably just turn it off for the rest of time. Shields, I'm going to turn off. I know it's not at a round number yet, but don't you worry. We'll be finding ourselves a shield and making use of this in the future, fixing that up. In fact, it gives us some incentive to survive until then. Gotta make sure that we get these numbers looking nicer at some point in the future. All we must do for now is survive. And the question becomes, do we want to start training polearms? It worked out pretty well for us last time. Dagger, you're trash. I'm a polearm main and always have been. Exactly. Who even wanted a dagger to start off anyway? It's not like we're going to be getting too many backstabs throughout. It might be nice to switch into something a little bit more permanent for the future. MRE eating stream when? I would actually be very interested in trying that in general. I always like trying out new meals and foods. And I definitely did a little bit of tasting around. I did a multi-day hike a few years back, and so I went through a bunch of different, less so MREs and more so just like hiking mixes and hot water cook bags, essentially. And it was really fun just to get an opportunity to try out a bunch of those. And we reached level 2. And interesting, our fingernails lengthen. So I know we were just tossing back and forth thinking, do we use a spear? Do we use our dagger? Now, unfortunately, we have a third option thrown into the mix because we started with some unarmed combat training and we've begun to grow claws, which will get bigger as we continue on, especially if this levels up to level 2 or 3 within the next couple of level ups here. It'll definitely be a very tempting option. Have a pseudo troll build on the up and up. We managed to get those. But for now, I think I need to stop hopping around and maybe decide on what we're doing. No glove sedge, that is the downside for sure. Oh, hello, Robin. Let's lead some of your friends up to this wonderful little stairwell, make our lives easier, make sure that we don't have a bunch of mighted hobgoblins surrounding us in just a moment here. And let's do it one more time. Take out all the lackeys first, then we take the head off the snake, maybe. +2 Mesa protection. Oof. Just want to say you discovered my YouTube channel recently. I've been binge watching and enjoying it. You got you to try the game and die horribly. Glad to catch you live. Glad to catch me live. Jeez, can't talk at all today. Well, awesome. Thank you so much, Remuthru. I appreciate you being able to show up and drop on by while we're live here. Thanks for watching with the channel. Glad you've been enjoying it for sure. And yeah, as Starflemic follows after, dying horribly is a feature. Exactly. All part of the game we know and love here. Okay, I'm gonna switch over to my spear, and I think we're gonna risk it, go for a quick berserk, and just try and kill Robin nice and quickly here. Beautiful. Went fantastic. And this time around, we're gonna commit a little bit more. I was really trying to force magic casting towards the later part of the game last week. This time I think we're gonna go a little more straightforward, especially if we do end up worshipping Rue. It's really nice to be able to freely make all of the arcana sacrifices, magical energy, throw all those in the trash in exchange for piety. I think it'll work out nicely for us in the future. And hello, the posse is still hanging around. In fact, I'm gonna get a magic dagger, and it was Holy Wrath? Jeez. You used to play Angband many years ago. You understand the horrible death as a feature? Fantastic. I believe that I tried out a little bit of Angband back in the day too, when I was a bit more interested in shopping around and I wasn't completely addicted to this dungeon crawler in particular. Save it, Angband was great. Yeah, I definitely remembered enjoying it back in the day. One day I'll have to go on a little bit of a nostalgia trip and revisit a bunch of those different crawlers that have fell by the wayside. Haven't quite had the longevity, the DCSS career for myself here at least. But in general, Remuthru, I'm always very excited and very happy to hear about any new people joining this fantastic community who plays this game. It's a whole lot of fun, and I'm so glad that I stumbled across it however many years ago, decade and a half. Definitely been a very enjoyable thing to return to over the years, especially this last year or so. It's been absolutely fantastic. I'd always love to have new faces and new people getting hooked. Okay, first adder. I was a little bit scared, but we managed to immediately inflict some poison. I do think that I am enjoying this sphere so far. It's really nice to have a Venom Brand reach weapon for the first little bit of the game. Definitely trivializes a lot of what could be horrifying fights as we stumble across a Scarf of Invisibility. I haven't used Evocable Invisibility since it was nerfed, because they added the fact that it drains your max HP a little bit. Probably still very powerful. Just happened to have made the list of things that are no longer quite as strong as they used to be, at least not as much of a panic button that you can just freely hit in any and all horrifying situations. But I need to take some time eventually to relearn how to appreciate it in its modern form here. I'm sure it's still useful, especially if we find an early gauntlet or something like that. One of the few ways to defeat an early Minotaur. But a helmet is a nice early find here. We'll immediately pop that on again for a little bit of extra defensibility right off the bat here. Water Moccasin Skeleton gave a whole bunch of experience too, which is fantastic. It's always nice when you have a relatively low risk fight, but high hit dice monster. Try and capitalize off that nice and early here. A few different altars along the way. I don't think I missed a Rue altar. No, it's definitely possible and interesting. Do we want to pop right down into the temple, find our god, and then come face to face with an ogre on the way out? Might be a better idea just to face the music now, hey? Let's do a quick look as to what polymorph might turn you into: a hog, a bullfrog, or a sky beast. All of those are arguably worse than your current form, so let's instead lead you on a little bit of a journey. Could even switch over to poison darts. I mean, we can probably fight you. I was about to say I'm going to regret this when we take one savage hit, and we indeed seem to do so. As we get our next demonic ancestry showing up here, our blood heats up. So our demonic aura sometimes causes spilled blood to erupt in flames. We'll see how that upgrades as we continue on here. Definitely one of the more interesting mutations, which I always appreciate and enjoy. A bit of flavor to go here, and let's try and spill as much blood as possible, shall we? Let our destructive sides come out a wee bit. And dang, unfortunately, a fairly limited temple. And I was definitely hoping to go with Rue this game. I mean, sure, we could go with Gozag, probably ensure my odds of success by quite a large margin, but as always, we like to try out fun things every once in a while, and I was hearing good things about Rue last week, so I might hold off for slightly longer, and hopefully we'll come across an altar to said god relatively soon here. Let's bring everyone back to this nice hallway feature. Fantastic. Fortunately, none of the gnolls had polearms, so much easier little band to deal with than we might normally expect to see. Let's just poison you and run away, not going to make the same risky mistakes as last time. And generally, when we find ourselves... Jeez Louise. Spilled blood lighting on fire everywhere and every way, really. It is definitely interesting. Let's just drink some curing here, heal up a wee bit, and fortunately, the hornet zombie is taking a decent amount of damage while standing in the flame there. But much scarier than I want to see in terms of fights early on here. And now we get another one of our mutations. We feel energized by our sufferings. This is powered by pain. So we're definitely having a bit of an interesting mechanic already start to come out. I was hoping that we'd see some synergistic mutations, and we do kind of. If we manage to take some hits, spill blood everywhere, and gain some power while doing so, it seems like it might be a decent mix. Wait, how does the spilled blood work? So I believe that it's just whenever we get blood from us or our enemies, it ignites on fire and creates those clouds, but just to make sure I'm not missing out on anything, as always, I did pull up all of the Demonspawn mutations in another tab here. So let's take a quick look at where that would be. Scroll down, ignite blood. Blood spilled in our line of sight has a 33% chance to immediately burst into a cloud of flame, and we are immune to clouds of flame. So the cloud immunization, for flame clouds at least, is a nice little side benefit that we'll be able to employ in multiple ways, hopefully. And it looks like as we level up that mutation, it just becomes a more and more assured chance to ignite, going up to 100% chance to light blood on fire at level 3. So we'll be trying to spill our blood like mad, I guess. And hello, Pickle. Not the best situation to find you in. We do have one of your innocent spirits between us. For anyone who's not aware, we always do our best to not touch any of the Lemire's here, and instead just take out the madman who's behind it all. But it's definitely been a bit tricky to do so in the past. Fortunately, we can do a quick check. You do 10 damage. That's not too bad. We could try and wait here and run into Pickle. So we just like getting hit exactly in multiple different situations here. Pickle, please. Nice. Okay, we were hoping the Pickle would squeeze by their summon here. In fact, we can take them back a couple of steps. That whiff of electrocution might still be rough. We could drink an early lignification, get some extra health, extra AC to take you down. And in fact, let's do so. Yes, we will quaff the potion. Stack as much poison as possible. Dang, you're still hurting us. Electrocution, real nasty this early on. But we should be okay. We can't run away. What could we do? We could try and polymorph you, turn into a hornet, an ice beast, or a human. Those are actually all probably better than what you currently are. I guess the human can still hold the whip, but either of the other two would work out. But we'll instead just fail a 46% chance multiple times. And now we have to start thinking again if there's anything we wish to do, because we have a couple curing potions. Wouldn't want to drink all of them. We're hoping to save some of those for when we get lethally poisoned in just a bit here, I'm sure. Alternatively, could switch over to throwing nets, 50% chance to hit. Let's go for it. Missed the first one. Hit the second one. There we go. Try and kill you quickly before you break out of that. Fantastic. As we turn back into our human form. So definitely a little bit riskier than it might have been necessary, but hey, we got through it. Imagine thinking while playing Crawl. We'll try our best not to think too much or too little. It's always a very delicate balancing act when it comes to my side of things. As we level up here and we feel even more energized by our suffering. Fantastic. Always great to be powered by pain. How many coin flips can we fail? Going for the record today, trying our very best to fail as many as we humanly can. At least that seems to be the case each and every time we boot up. As we finish exploring the floor, still no Rue. Curious how far I'm willing to push this before we'll just go with somebody else here. Hepliaquana is a nice choice when we're going with polearms because we can use our ancestor as a bit of a meat shield, of course. Let's bring you two upstairs. just in case, and then maybe take a peek before we go down. A water moccasin, a hound, and a howler monkey. I don't know how I feel about that, so let's just head to another stairwell. Sepane can now give us might and agility. I believe so, but that is another one that I probably should have just looked up while we were at it. Each time we are injured, we gain a bonus of our max HP. Interesting. And the possible bonuses are to regain magic power, gain the might ability, or gain agility. So there we go. Confirmation of exactly what you were saying. Can I pronounce Red and Kiku? Their full names? Red Lemu? Something like that? And Kiku Bakuda? Is that correct? I know a while back we had some... and yeah, exactly, safe it. Just cheat and use Red and Kiku. Easiest names ever. But I know a couple of times I've asked people in chat to help me out with some easy phonetical spellings of how to best say some things. It's the only reason why I can properly read Nikoksek whenever we see those buddies pop up. And we are definitely told for both of those deities, and I completely forgot. But Red? Right? Where do you... It's definitely not a starting sound that native English speakers are very good with, the YR. Red Lemu Kiku Bakuda is how I would guess it. But in terms of our run here, look at that. We managed to find a sacrificial altar of Rue here. So we said we were going to try out something new and have some fun. Why don't we check this out today? Rue the Awakened. We'll just pop in. So as we go throughout the dungeon here, Rue will occasionally offer us some sacrifices. We can sacrifice things like love, in which case we'll no longer be able to summon anything, or anything we do summon will be hostile to us. Or we can sacrifice things like Arcana and lose our ability to train specific casting skills in exchange for piety and more abilities as we continue to make our way through the ranks. We'll probably be covering most of the piety abilities as we come across them here, and won't worry too much about listing them all off right off the cusp here. I'm very concerned about the water moccasin, but fortunately we make them bleed immediately and get that extra fire damage that definitely trivializes what could have otherwise been a very brutal fight. Also nice to fight the howler monkey once we've cleared off most of the floor. Scorpion, another sketchy monster. All these early poison sources can be rough. Fortunately for the Scorpion, we have Venom on our side as well, so may the Scorpions take that as a lesson to never fight fire with fire when you're weak to it. As we'll continue on, and otherwise getting fairly lucky with our layouts. Nothing too scary has popped up quite yet. Also slowly but surely discovering all the altars that didn't have room to be crammed into the Economical Temple this time around. Oh, but hello. This is quite a nice gadget shop. Jamoa's Gadget Gallery. Box of Beast, Phantom Mirror, and File Floods, all likely to be bought sometime in the future, and equally so with Ice Blast Wands. We'll hold off for now, we don't have a whole lot of money at our disposal. I don't like an early Phantom here. Hopefully we have enough staying power to fight, and we do indeed, but that definitely could have been a bit of a trickier fight. Unfortunately, one of the few early game monsters that is unaffected by our poisonous pole here. As I stumble over saying pole, because I think my brain wanted to finish that sentence with poking implement, which, I mean, hey, definitely isn't wrong either. Can appreciate that. As we gain our level 2 claws on level up. At this stage, I think we'll continue going the polearm route. Pretty happy with how this is doing so far here. We again could switch over to unarmed. Unarmed combat scales really well into the late game too if you manage to get a lot of training in it. But we should be fine going with the polearm route this time. At least for the time being. We'll see how she goes. Goes ahead, go now. All of a sudden, the kid wants money. Yes, after snubbing Gozeg, we're immediately like, oh, but greed is good. I don't know. Too late now. And spicy skewer. See, that's a much better way of phrasing it. Don't know about you, but I should always refer to my magical spears as a little bit of a spicy skewer. Especially when you get a bit of roast iguana on there, a little bit of garlic, a little bit of salt, some nice hot sauce. Sounds good to me. And we'll put on some gloves that are immediately going to be shredded, I'm sure. Probably even this next level up, we'll see our claws grow out and unfortunately destroy these lovely kind of burgundy-ish gloves we have on. Or a reverse medicine stick, exactly, yeah. Only the best reverse medicine stick services here, friends. But we'll throw on some boots. Always nice to get multiple sources of little AC bonuses as we go in the early dungeon. As I get the shock of my life, going to pick up a shiny ring. Obvious trap in hindsight. Never go for the shining ring just sitting on the middle of the dungeon floor. There's a reason it's going to be there. As we drop down 3 floors, landing in a place with a Bailey. Interesting. D10. Probably a little bit scarier than we otherwise might like. But fortunately, the Bailey should scale off our experience level. So it might actually be kind of doable. Regardless, we have a stairs right here, a little trapdoor hatch. So we're going to stand on this and start reading some of our scrolls. Maybe find magic mapping, maybe just identify some useful potions and scrolls to keep us alive going through this level. We'll see how she goes. And perfect, our 5 stacks of scrolls do turn out to be ID. So we'll fortunately be able to quickly identify a decent number of things here. I think I will do a couple more potions. It's hoping for heal wounds, but that's just fine, of course. And we'll switch over to scrolls. We do find magic mapping right away, so that's fortuitous for sure. 3 floors, hold my beer. I'll take a look. Did you spy a rue sacrifice available? Thank you so much for keeping me to it, because I did not notice whatsoever. Let's take a look. Gain the ability to sacrifice essence, sacrifice nimbleness, or sacrifice purity. Interesting. So, my knowledge of rue sacrifices is a little bit vague. I'm sure we can go into descriptions to check these out, but it's always fun to try and guess a little bit what we might be sacrificing. Disrupted magic would probably just be harder to cast spells, something like that. Nimbleness, I believe, is sacrificing our dodging skill, so we'll be completely unable to train that in the future here. Purity, that I have no clue. Purity and its flavored weakness. I believe most of the brackets mean that there are multiple forms that the sacrifice can take. And weakness maybe just means that we sacrifice some strength or something. Let's go into description mode and take a look. Sacrifices purity of body or mind, causing a single mutation. So we do gain weakness, we lose 2 strength if we take this sacrifice, but we don't miss out on any skills, so that's nice. Essence here, if we double check, we'll find that our casting is slightly disrupted, so exactly what it said on the tin. And sacrificing nimbleness is dodging, just like we thought. And the sacrifice is worth more if you cannot train armor. So if you sacrifice both your armor skill and your dodging, you get huge bonuses from it, but definitely a risky move going forward from that. Theme choice is dodging, we want to get hit. When you put it like that, I was originally going to do the spell casting, but I think that sounds pretty good for me, especially since it's a major sacrifice versus a moderate rather. So let's sacrifice nimbleness. No dodging. Simplifies our mindset a little bit too. We know that we can throw all our training into armor and shields when we get the opportunity. Don't have to waste anything on dodging. And we can take all the hits right to the chest. Make sure we're bleeding all over our enemies so that we can light them on fire. That sounds nice. And with that major sacrifice, we gain our first ability. So we exude an aura of power that intimidates your foes. This has a chance at this stage to cause our enemies to, instead of hitting us when they attack hit themselves or their allies, and the chance for that to happen scales as we go up in piety here. So hopefully we'll be able to see some good things come out of that. I also, instead of reading magic mapping, just immediately hit auto explore, but turns out totally worth it. Look at that. There's the portal that we were aiming for. Fantastic. Maybe I'll grab this halberd just for fun, and then let's check it out. Hopefully it's not too scary. Honestly, not a bad start. Nice little hallway for us to lead our enemies back into. And everyone's using pole arms, which honestly kind of works out to their disadvantage in this situation. Fantastic. This just might be doable. Let's start off by blocking out here. Take a quick look around, make sure that we can't explore anywhere else. Don't want to get snuck up on from behind for sure. In fact, we can go around the corner real quick. Beautiful. And let's see what we're dealing with. Shaman in a bunch. Oof, that's rough. I was gonna say a bunch of Knoll Sergeants. Fortunately, Net's a bit of a pain. Fortunately, we managed to break out just in time, then we can back up. Looking like it's going to be a rough one, especially since the Bardiche Knoll hasn't popped in yet. This is just this buddy, the glaive. And we're made to bleed. We're being made to bleed. There we go. Try using my words a little bit. Unfortunately, instead of causing our enemies to bleed, so this fire isn't doing a whole lot for us. Let's see. Just one more hit from that Bardiche is going to be exceptionally nasty. If we want to commit, we can drink Lignification. We'll gain, again, some armor class that might help us out in surviving the fight, as well as just some overall health. Alternatively, haste also kind of helps us out. You know what, let's commit to this. I'm going to drink Lig. Hopefully, don't take too much damage right away. Perfect. It sucked to immediately get slapped around a bit too much. And then we can also check some paralysis chances now that we have that extra defense. And we'll see how many coin flips we can fail this time. So that's going to be another one, unfortunately. Not fantastic. We gained agility thanks to the damage we took. Hooray for that. Super handy, very useful. And we're definitely in a bit of a rough spot here. Perfect for the hydrate redeem. Make sure that we take our time, that we're thinking things through, staying hydrated. I appreciate it. Sometimes I need to be reminded to just take my hands off the keyboard for a bit, think things through, and decide on our best course of action moving forward. 11 damage plus your Bardiche. Not great. With a really bad roll and a good roll from then, we do stand a chance of just dying straight out. We haven't found heal wounds, unfortunately. We could drink a curing real quick and then go for another paralysis chance, because that would definitely simplify stuff. If we look past them, we see a +3 spear Knoll and a normal one. Both of these are honestly going to be a little bit rough, even if we do manage to make it through this son of a gun. Could do a quick check on our Tropa Dart. Odds of this happening, 76% chance to hit, 61 chance to blind. So maybe we'll use that against the smaller Knolls if we can survive this initial little bit here. And is episode 3 of Demonspawn coming out? I believe it was that today? Or is it episode 2 today? It's today or tomorrow. I usually try and release those at 3 p.m. each day. Get a new one of the episodes out if you're watching those over on the YouTube side of things. But let's drink a curing and start off there. Kind of go up and down, don't really gain much progress either which way. Unfortunately, that was a decent roll for us too. We didn't take that much damage either, so I think we have to just put all our money on green here. Hope that the paralysis goes through. 46% chance. Never didn't have it. Beautiful. Okay. And now that you're paralyzed, probably should try and kill you, but it's very tempting to also drink an ambrosia potion and use this as a little bit of a time to alleviate our damage. I think we have to attack the Null Sergeant, because if they come out of that paralysis in one piece, we're almost definitely dead immediately. So let's start there. And I think I will actually drink the ambrosia. Nearly hit ourselves, something in the way. Trying to stab through our confusion, even with our spear not going great. But we are managing to heal up a little bit, which is exactly what we were looking for. It's interesting, normally when you're stumbling around confused, you have a little bit more of a feedback as to what's going on. But with the spear, since you're just evoking it, sometimes it just does nothing. Gives you the little notice about something being in your way. I'm guessing that's me trying to stab into a tree by accident. But we did manage to make it through this fight so far. This +3 spear might be a little bit rougher. Fantastic. Don't know if we deserve that one. A bit of a rough start for sure to our poor buddy here. Let's try and immediately blind the shaman this time. Not waste any time fooling around. Get you fully poisoned up if possible, because this is potentially another rough fight. Beautiful. Got out in one piece. Hopefully the rest of the Bailey doesn't hold too much that will scare the lights out of us here. Can switch back to Tropa for this lovely shaman buddy. And quickly poke them about. Fantastic. Hopefully just normal nulls for the majority of this. Okay, we do see another sergeant coming this way with another glaive this time around. But we know that this fight doesn't always go super smoothly. So let's, instead of waiting for all of our panic buttons in the final moments, let's use these right away. Try and get ahead of the curve. Fantastic. Definitely a whole lot safer than our first attempt. Fantastic. Hello friends, what do you have? A +9 Mace of Perfectionism. Freeze, resistance to electricity, and +4 dex +6. That's gonna hurt real bad. A +9 Mace in the hands of a sergeant. Oof. Well, hopefully can blind you, especially if you get hasted as well. Please don't do that, shaman. I'm already gonna have some trouble here. And then maybe pair it with a net. Fantastic. Potentially gives us slightly better odds of surviving, especially with a whole lot of poison stacks immediately going down. Fantastic. Jeez Louise. Much scarier than I would have liked. Where did he get the +9 maze? I'm pretty sure that's not even allowed. That's gotta be illegal, right? Can't bring that here. We just started. We're level 9. Excuse me, sir? Oh, geez Louise. Even the shaman being way more of a pain than I thought they might be. Ooh, geez Louise. And then we do have to at least ponder. Do we want to switch again? Is this going to be the run where we try out one of each weapon type? One of the rare occasions that it happens on a non-null character? I'm at least going to pick it up, and it might be useful to even just hold in our hand for now. Like, it's swinging at 1.4, so not the fastest attack speed. The +9 is definitely huge in the early part of the game here. I'm at least going to think about it, so I'm going to set that to the letter B and set our spear to the letter A. That way we can hot swap between them with the apostrophe, and we'll see how the next little bit progresses if we want to get a little bit funky with it. Hello, friend. Goodbye, friend. Jeez Louise. Already kind of worth it, even if we just get this lightning rod. Definitely happy with that. Mace base damage is bad, but yeah, +9, exactly. No, not something we'll be keeping around for the late game, but for now, that's a huge advantage to eke out. Pretty fantastic. Now, 3 of you is going to be a bit rough. I guess we could start the lightning rod, see how that goes. Maybe let the second one get a little bit closer so that we can actually hit them as well. I don't like the shaman being in view now because I do feel like that's just a recipe for hasted Null Sergeant with the halberd, but perfect time we managed to take them off with a few blasts of our lovely lightning rod, already paying dividends and doing a huge amount of work for us. I also haven't been paying too much attention to our Aura of Power. I'm not sure if we've gone some ticks from that. I wouldn't be surprised if we managed to luck out a few times there, have them hit themselves around a bit. But okie dokie, let's, I guess, get out of here for now. Head to the trap door. It might be better to find ourselves a proper upstairs, because if this drops us into trouble, we're going to be in a bit of a nightmare situation. But I do think I kind of want to just get out of this level of the dungeon. Almost got greedy and went straight for the ID scroll, but let's first take care of you two. Yeah, turns out I was right that was probably a mistake. So do you want that ID scroll? It can just hang out. It can chill for a bit. We'll be back instead in the future. No need to play it too risky here. We also never put on this poison resistance ring, but hugely important against an early hornet for sure. So let's pop that buddy on, finish healing up, and there we go. We're back up to where we left off. Oh boy. Shafts, whatever you feel about them, definitely a bit of an adventure each and every time. Ooh, and a ring of willpower is quite nice. Definitely something we oftentimes are struggling to deal with, having enough willpower to move forward in a good way, so always happy to see that. Unfortunately, none of these whites having our current brand of weapon. Be nice to get like a +3 trident of venom off of one of these sons of guns, but hey, we won't get too greedy. Whatever the game wants to hand us, we should be happy with. There we go. Managed to walk away from the warrior just as they gained enough poison to do some real damage here. I'm a little bit worried about the wizard. Fortunately, they decided not to launch too many spells at us and just keep trying to whack away, so hey, I'll take it. I'm very, very happy to see it, honestly. And we'll continue moving on. Found a couple spells added to our book here. Ignite Poison is pretty incredible, so if we did want to branch into spell casting, we get like Ulgrab's Toxic Radiance and that. Basically set for life in a 3-rune game, but we'll have to see how the Rue sacrifices progress, because for the time being, the plan is to sacrifice all the magic mojo away. Rue is definitely, from my understanding, lacking though it may be. Rue is best played on a character where you define how you want to build moving forward, and you make sure to just cut out things that won't affect you too badly in the long run. Especially if they're major sacrifices, it's pretty awesome in terms of payouts for us here. So we stumble across another helmet that we'll immediately try on. I think I like this helmet better. The gray, the metal gray matches our chainmail a little bit more. Despite my Viking heritage, I've never been too big of a fan of the double-horned helmet design. So we run into Maggie early on. Mesmerize might be a bit of a pain, but not necessarily worth stacking up some extra willpower for. That Bolt of Fire, on the other hand, is gonna hurt really badly. Let's see, if we atropa you, chance of going blind 41%, works for me. Fantastic. In fact, let's just throw another one at you. Beautiful. Nice, easy way to deal with spellcasters. Oh, and you drop Swamp Dragon Scales. That's a very interesting find early on. We'd lose 1 AC, but we gain poison resistance on our body. So definitely, if we find another fantastic ring that we'd rather wear instead of our poison resistance, maybe we'll think about switching over for the time being, at least until we find a heavier suit of armor to throw on. Could see it definitely working out for us here.